As you can see, there's not a lot needed to do this procedure. The first thing you'll need is to get some wood. You'll want to get 2x4s. That'll be used for bracing on the sides and along the bottom for support where you're going to step. It'd be a good idea to have some 1/2-inch plywood and some 1/4-inch masonite or 1/4-inch plywood that will be used as shims. Some shingles also will be helpful. You also need to have a dust mask for cutting through the fiberglass. You'll want to get sheetrock screws. You'll want to get 1 inch to 1.5 inch sheetrock screws. You'll also want to have a good pair of safety glasses. You'll need tape, and you'll also need a drill with a good 1/8-inch drill bit for pre-drilling your screw holes. We've set up here with 2. One has a screw tip in it. You can have a screw gun set up separate. For convenience, it'd be a good idea to have 2 jigsaws also. This one's set up with a 2-inch blade so that it will not cut through the part as you're cutting, but it's not big enough to go through the 2x4. So you don't have to keep changing blades, may want to have 2 of those if you're doing a multiple unit.
3.
You'll also need a caulking gun, and this will be a regular caulking gun with the glue, and this will also work as caulking to go around it also. You'll need a good marker. I suggest you get a good black marking pen so that you can see what you're doing on both white parts. You'll need a good straight edge of any kind, and then you'll have your template and the actual part that we're going to be using. You'll also need some cardboard to make a template of the side pattern, and then you'll also have a vacuum for cleanup. That's pretty much everything you're going to need to do the actual job. The first thing that we've done is we've made a mark on here so that you could see center to center. Then the first thing you want to do is take and find center of your tub and figure out where you're at dead center. Once you've found dead center, go ahead and set your template on. Now if the template won't fit over the tub, it's not a tub you want to cut because the whole thing won't fit. This is the same width as the part that's going to be inserted in, so that'll let you be a judge of where you want to go. Once you've got that, just trace around it. Then turn it over, line up your 2 lines, and trace the inside the same. once you've got your cutout done, just go ahead and clean up, and you're basically through with a lot of the fiberglassing until we cut the actual unit, the plastic unit. What we'll do is we'll take a pattern off the side of this, which we'll trace on to the actual unit. Now, if there is any kind of curvature or any kind of design in the front of this tub, it won't matter because your pattern will be put on the end of your piece here, and so each one fits just like a glove. One thing that you'll want to do is take some duct tape and put on your jigsaw so that it doesn't leave any marks or scratch the surface of whatever you're cutting. Okay, the next step is to take some cardboard or some kind of poster board or something and make a pattern of the side. And this is what you'll cut out of the actual step through. And I would mark these and do two, because this mold might be a little different than this side. We found one to be that way, and they were a ½ inch different, so that it has a nice tight fit. Do two of them. Then you also want to take the wood that you'll be using as your support and put up against here and get a mark on that. You'll need one on each side to glue to and to support the sides, and then you'll also want one that will go along the bottom where you're going to have support where you step. Then we'll cut those two patterns out. Okay, now what we're going to do is take the wood pieces that we cut and put them up in here and make a mark of where we need to take and put screw holes. And we'll drill those out and put the wood blocks in. The best bet is to fix them to where they're on both sides of the sides, and then we're going to put two in the bottom to support the bottom where you're going to be stepping.
Okay. All right, very good. It probably won't be shipped until Monday. We've got UPS will be here. We'll be here shortly, and it's still got a lot to go. So, I would say.
Okay, then what you want to do is take and drill each one of these to where your screw won't crack the fiberglass. Then once we've got those set, we can put the wood in. The wood will not only go for support, but that will be the gluing surface that will hold the unit in. It won't just go for the support, because there won't be enough gluing strength just around the edges. Okay, at this point we put in our wood blocks. They not only, we've already put in one of them, and now we'll put in this side, but one thing you want to realize is it's not just a support to glue to, but it's a support for the walls, and it does make a big difference with them supported. So then you just flush them up and put your screws in for your piece of wood. And that glue this wood sticks very well to the wood, and you'll have plenty of biting in to that surface to hold that. We've had one glued in, and once they're glued in, they don't move whatsoever. The other thing you want to remember is stay flush or it will hit. You don't want to let that come out any further than that edge, because this template is cut very tight. Now we'll put the ones in the bottom here to support the bottom. Okay, at this point we've got all of our wood blocks in, and you can see what support that ends up giving to that. Now what we need to do is get our patterns and trace them on the edge of your piece of plastic. Now one thing you want to remember is that there is a left and right, and on this one that mold is a little different, so you want to make sure you do two patterns. There'll be a line right here that you'll be able to set the edge of your pattern on, and that will line up with the bottom of this, so that when this is all the way down, it's resting and being supported at this point. So get your line set, then center your pattern, and then go ahead and trace it at that point. Now what you want to do is take and follow these lines straight up until you reach the bottom. Once we reach the bottom, we'll take a straight edge and cut through the bottom. It's important to remember that this has a shape to it, and there's a straight edge and then a contoured edge. Make sure that the contoured edge always goes on the inside of the tub, because it's always flush on this outer surface. Then basically just go from line to line. There'll be holes in here so that you can start your jigsaw without needing to drill also. Now at this point we're ready just to cut out that center. Remember that when you do that, that you don't use a blade. From here to here, the cutting teeth can be no longer than 2 inches so that it won't cut through on the opposite side.
President, go.
Okay, at this point we've got the whole insert cut out and it's ready to install. You could take some sandpaper or your fingernail cleans these edges right up. It really comes off easy. Now, one thing that you don't want to do is caulk or glue inside on this ridge, because when you go to push it down on, it just smears all over and you may have some fitting to do. So this area right here,
Use the other side. I can't see that side.
this area right here, and right here, and right here is what you'll want to put plenty of adhesive on, and that will be your holding power. There's a lot more surface there to hold it in, and you won't create a mess. Also, on these ends, when you go to cut this out, if you run into a tub that has a design in it, and it comes in
Concave.
and it's concaved, such as this, you'll be able to cut that out of that end and it'll be a tight fit. So it'll basically fit anything that you want to put it on. Now at this point, we'll slide it down over. You may need to use it and have a little help. But once it's down on there, you have a nice snug fit all the way around. And at that point, you don't have any glue around any of the edges. It's only in those spots. and then you're set. The other thing that you want to do is the same thing that you glue onto the wood is what you're going to want to do, use around these seams as caulking.
Okay, hold on.
And let it be 2-in-1 because...
Okay, so there's a nice finished unit.
Nice.
And since people will be standing on it or may use it to step in, that block of wood helps support the fiberglass underneath it.
Besides, it's the biggest gluing surface that you have available for it not to have a problem.
Okay, so all outside edges will be caulked.
Yep. Caulk all the way around the outer edge
A few
with the
hours later
same
they could use it.
adhesive. And the new ones will be shiny, and you won't have that satin finish on them.
This is a prototype. And that's why it's not being glued in, is we'll glue in a finished piece when they arrive.